Yes, we're all looking forward to schnitzel, probably the Austrians even more than anyone else. But the reason we have come up with the idea of showing you how to make a schnitzel, a Wiener Schnitzel, is because over the years I have noticed that many Australians think they eat a Wiener Schnitzel, when in case it has nothing to do with the Wiener Schnitzel. Because just crumbing a piece of meat does not yet make a Wiener Schnitzel, okay? So here today I have engaged the help of a specialist, and I'm talking about Andreas Puha. He's a specialist in many things, but tonight he will be actually showing you how we do a special dish. And this dish is the Wiener Schnitzel.
Yes, good evening, and thank you for joining us here. I'm a bit nervous because I think Astrid tried to get Jamie Oliver, but he couldn't make it, so you have the real expert from Vienna apparently. While this is gonna heat up here, and while we're gonna, I'm gonna tell you a little bit of the history. There's lots of stories about Viennese Schnitzel and Wiener Schnitzel, where it came from and when it was first introduced. So one of the most famous stories is that in 1830 a Austrian general went to Italy to negotiate some political peace deals, let's call, and he came across a costoletta milanese, which was a piece of veal, including the bone, and it was crumbed and breaded and then deep fried and sliced, and he brought this dish home to Vienna, and the emperor tasted it, liked it, and there it was. There was Wiener Schnitzel. So this is one of the stories that's usually told. We know that that's not true because we're Austrians, we're much smarter than that. We don't need any Italians to come up with something. And historically we actually know that, for example, we had our second most famous dish is the Backhandel, which is a fried chicken, a crumbed fried chicken. And that has been famous since the 1700s. So why would we not crumb the veal? So that's the story. One of our most important things is a Wiener Schnitzel is actually something very pure. It is often falsified with many things. I think if you follow a bus in Sydney, you have loaded schnitzel from the Löwenbräu Keller, piece of schnitzel with some spaghetti on top. I'm not sure. That's simply not what we do. Our Wiener Schnitzel I'm going to demonstrate you tonight is very simple, but that is what makes it so special. To be a Wiener Schnitzel, it has to be veal. It is a thinly sliced veal, and our friends here in Brisbane helped me already, and they helped me bashing out the veal. Very, very important that the schnitzel is nice and thin. You can't fry a thick piece of meat, so it needs to be very thick. This is not the hammer we use. I think this can kill fish with that, but this is what we have tonight. And so I do need to make this a little bit thinner, and it is a wonderful piece of meat, usually in one piece, and we might cook two while we're at it. So the books say that the schnitzel has to be about 3 millimeters thick. That's up to you. We salt, so we'll put a little bit of salt on them, and some pepper. Austrians are big into white pepper, they're not into black pepper, but white pepper. And then, again, as I said, I had to cover this a bit windy, I didn't want to have everything on the floor. You put the schnitzel in the flour, and you have to make sure that there's not too much flour, but it's nice and covered with everything. Second one. And afterwards the schnitzel goes into the egg. Best to use pure egg. Do not dilute the egg, otherwise the whole thing is going to be too thin and it's going to go everywhere. Again, you drain it nicely, not to make too much of a mess. It goes into the breadcrumbs. And you have to be careful that you cover it well, but not, you don't press too hard. Pressing too hard will not make the whole thing souffle.
Okay, so here today we're really to debunk the myth of what constitutes a Wiener Schnitzel and what you should be eating with the Wiener Schnitzel when you eat the real thing.